Chapter 1. Amanda's Crossroads. Amanda Price stared at the blinking cursor on her computer screen like it was mocking her. The quarterly report was finished, the numbers balanced, and the formatting pristine. It was the kind of work that earned polite nods in meetings and a good job email from her manager. Never more, never less. She leaned back in her chair and let out a sigh that felt heavier than the spreadsheet she'd been staring at for hours. 26 years old, 3 years into a job she didn't hate but didn't love, and already she could see the ceiling above her head. Director level. That was the prize. After that, nothing. Not because she lacked talent, but because the executive suite was a family tree with deep roots and no room for outsiders. Amanda swiveled in her chair, glancing at the framed photo on her desk. Her dad, grinning like he just told the world's funniest joke, his arms slung around her shoulders. She smiled despite herself. He was the only man who had never let her down. The only one who loved her without conditions or expiration dates. Her phone buzzed, pulling her out of her thoughts. Dad flashed on the screen. She answered with a smile. "Hey, stranger," she said. "Stranger? I call you every week." Her father's voice boomed, warm and teasing. "If anyone's a stranger, it's you. How's my favorite daughter?" "I'm your only daughter," Amanda replied, laughing. "And I'm fine. Just work stuff." "Work stuff," he repeated, like the words tasted bland. "You sound about as excited as a tax seminar." Amanda hesitated. "It's just, I don't know, Dad. I like my job, but I feel stuck. There's no real future here." "Stuck, huh?" He paused, and she could hear the faint hum of a crowd in the background. "You know what I do when I feel stuck? Tell jokes?" she guessed. "Exactly," he said, triumphant. "You laugh your way out of it." Amanda smiled, shaking her head. "Not everyone can just quit their job and become a comedian." "Sure they can," he said. "Look at me. 24 years in the same company. Then poof, retired early and now I'm living the dream." "The dream?" Amanda echoed. "You mean standing in smoky clubs at midnight?" "Hey, those smoky clubs paid for my new golf clubs," he shot back. "And guess what? I just signed a contract for a 3-month tour." Amanda sat up. "Wait, what? A tour?" "Yep. Talent Scout saw me, liked my stuff, and now I'm hitting the road. Sold out shows, baby." Amanda blinked. Her dad, the quiet man who used to spend Sundays fixing leaky faucets, was now a touring comedian. "That's amazing." "It is," he agreed. "And you know what else would be amazing?" "What?" "You. On tour with me." Amanda laughed so hard she nearly dropped the phone. "Me? Dad? I can't just—" "Sure you can," he interrupted. "Put in your 2 weeks, leave on good terms, and come with me. You've been talking about needing a change. This is it." Amanda stared at the photo on her desk again. Her dad's smile seemed to dare her. "That's crazy." "Crazy is underrated," he said. "Come on, Amanda. What's the worst that could happen?" She opened her mouth to argue, but nothing came out. Because deep down she knew he was right. The worst that could happen was, she'd figure out what she wanted, and maybe laugh a little along the way. "I'll think about it," she said finally. "Think fast," he replied. "We leave in 2 weeks." Amanda hung up and stared at her screen. The cursor blinked, patient and smug. For the first time in months, she felt something other than boredom. She felt alive. Chapter 2. The Leap. Amanda Price had never quit a job before. She'd fantasized about it, storming out of the office, tossing her badge on the desk, and delivering a speech so fiery it would trend on social media. But reality was far less cinematic. She sat across from her manager, a man who wore ties like they were personality substitutes, and tried to keep her voice steady. "I've decided to resign," she said, sliding the neatly typed letter across the desk. His eyebrows shot up like startled caterpillars. "Resign? Amanda, you're one of our best analysts." "I appreciate that," she said, forcing a polite smile. "But I need a change." "A change?" He blinked as if the concept were foreign. "Is this about money? We can talk about a raise." Amanda shook her head. "It's not about money. It's about opportunity." He leaned back, sighing like a man who just discovered his favorite coffee shop closed early. "You know the structure here. Director level is a solid position. And the last position," Amanda said softly. "I don't want my ceiling to be someone else's floor." He stared at her for a long moment, then nodded slowly. 2 weeks. "Yes, all right." He stood, extending his hand. "You'll be missed." Amanda shook his hand, feeling a strange mix of relief and terror. Missed, maybe, but not enough to keep her here. 2 weeks later, Amanda was standing in her apartment surrounded by half-packed suitcases, wondering if she'd lost her mind. Her best friend, Lila, perched on the couch with a glass of wine, watching Amanda wrestle with a pile of clothes. "So let me get this straight," Lila said, swirling her wine like a judge deliberating a sentence. "You quit your job, you're stable, benefits included, for 01k, friendly job to go on tour with your dad. A comedian." Amanda zipped a suitcase with unnecessary force. "Yes, a comedian who started doing stand-up after your mom left him." "Yes, and you think this is a good idea because—" Amanda paused, hands on her hips. Because I need something different, something fun. Something that doesn't involve quarterly reports and passive-aggressive emails about printer jams. Lila raised an eyebrow. Fun is great. But what about your career? Amanda sat on the edge of the bed, exhaling. That's the thing. I don't know what I want my career to be. I just know it's not this. Lila softened, setting her glass down. Okay, I get that. But promise me you'll call if you end up in a cult. Amanda laughed. Deal. The next morning, Amanda loaded her suitcases into her car and drove to her dad's house. He was waiting on the porch, grinning like a kid on Christmas morning. There she is, he said, arms wide. My road warrior. Amanda hugged him, inhaling the familiar scent of aftershave and coffee. You're way too excited about this. Of course I am, he said, grabbing one of her bags. You're about to see the glamorous life of show business. Glamorous. Amanda eyed his beat-up SUV. That's what we're taking? He patted the hood proudly. This baby's been through more adventures than Indiana Jones. Amanda slid into the passenger seat, buckling up. I'm suddenly regretting this. Too late, he said, starting the engine. We've got a 6-hour drive to the first venue. Plenty of time for you to question your life choices. The highway stretched out like a ribbon of uncertainty. Amanda watched the scenery blur past, her thoughts a jumble of excitement and fear. Her dad tapped the steering wheel in rhythm with the classic rock station. So, tell me, what's the plan after the tour? Amanda shrugged. Figure out what I want. Maybe go back to school. Maybe start something new. Something new, he repeated, nodding. I like that. Amanda glanced at him. You really think this comedy thing is going to work out? He smiled, eyes on the road. I don't know, but I'm having the time of my life trying. Amanda felt a pang of admiration and envy. Her dad had reinvented himself at 52. Meanwhile, she was terrified of making one wrong move at 26. They arrived at the venue just as the sun dipped below the horizon. The building was a converted warehouse with string lights draped across the entrance, buzzing with energy. Amanda followed her dad inside, where laughter and chatter filled the air. Crew members hustled around, adjusting lights and sound equipment. Welcome to the circus, her dad said, spreading his arms. Amanda's eyes widened as she took it all in. The stage, the rows of chairs, the smell of popcorn and beer. It was chaotic and alive, nothing like the sterile office she'd left behind. A man approached, clipboard in hand. Tall, lean, with dark hair that looked artfully messy. His smile was quick, practiced. You must be Amanda, he said, extending a hand. I'm Ethan, tour manager. Amanda shook his hand, feeling a spark she couldn't quite name. Nice to meet you. Your dad's a legend, Ethan said, glancing at him with a grin. Crowd loves him. Her dad chuckled. Flattery will get you everywhere. Ethan turned back to Amanda. First time on tour? Yep, she said. Any survival tips? He smirked. Don't fall in love with a comedian. They'll steal your punchlines. Amanda laughed, but something in his tone made her stomach flip. Later, as her dad rehearsed backstage, Amanda wandered through the venue, soaking in the atmosphere. She felt untethered, like a balloon cut loose, but for the first time in years, that didn't scare her. She was on the edge of something new, something unpredictable, and maybe, just maybe, something wonderful. Chapter 3. On the road, Amanda woke up to the sound of laughter. Not the polite chuckle of office coworkers, but the full-bodied roar of people who'd been up all night and didn't care who knew it. She blinked against the sunlight streaming through the hotel curtains and groaned. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand. Dad. Morning, road warrior. His voice boomed when she answered. Breakfast in 15. Lobby. Amanda squinted at the clock. Dad. It's 8 a.m. Comedy waits for no one, he said cheerfully. Besides, you'll want to meet the crew. They're characters. Amanda dragged herself out of bed, threw on jeans and a t-shirt, and headed downstairs. The hotel lobby was buzzing with energy. People hauling equipment cases, chatting over coffee, laughing like they'd all shared the same inside joke. Her dad stood in the center of it, holding court like a king in sneakers. Here she is, he announced when he saw her. Everyone. This is Amanda, my daughter and official tour sidekick. Amanda smiled awkwardly as a dozen faces turned toward her. Sidekick, she murmured. Better than intern, he whispered back. A woman with bright red hair and a clipboard approached, grinning. I'm Tina, stage manager. Welcome to the madhouse. Amanda shook her hand. Thanks, I think. Tina laughed. You'll love it. Just don't trip over any cables or insult the sound guy. He's sensitive. Amanda glanced around. Where's Ethan? As if summoned, Ethan appeared from behind a stack of cases, wearing a black t-shirt and an expression that said he'd been up since dawn. Morning, he said, flashing that quick, practiced smile. Ready for your first day in showbiz? Amanda smirked. Define ready. Still here? That counts. He handed her a laminated badge. Crew pass. Don't lose it or security will tackle you. Amanda slipped the badge over her head. Comforting. Breakfast was a whirlwind of introductions and jokes Amanda barely understood. The comedians were a mix of personalities. One guy who spoke entirely in punchlines, another who treated sarcasm like a second language. Her dad fit right in, laughing and trading stories like he'd been doing this his whole life. Amanda watched him, a pang of pride swelling in her chest. He looked happy, really happy. After breakfast, Ethan gave her a quick tour of the venue. "This is backstage," he said, leading her through a maze of curtains and cables. "Green rooms over there. Bathrooms are wherever you can find them." Amanda laughed. "Sounds organized." "Organized chaos," he corrected. "It works, mostly." They stopped near the stage, where technicians adjusted lights. Amanda stared at the rows of empty chairs, imagining them filled with people. "Ever been to a comedy show?" Ethan asked. "Not like this," she admitted. "I've seen Netflix specials, but..." She gestured at the stage. "This feels different." "It is," he said. "Live comedy's unpredictable. That's the magic." Amanda glanced at him. "You sound like you love it." He shrugged. "I love the energy, the travel, the people." Pause. "Not so much the drama." "Drama? Comedians," he said dryly. "They're brilliant on stage, but off stage? Let's just say egos don't fit in carry-on luggage." Amanda laughed. "Noted." By late afternoon, the venue was buzzing. Chairs filled, lights dimmed, and Amanda felt the hum of anticipation in her bones. She stood backstage as her dad prepared to go on, his hands steady, his smile easy. "Nervous?" she asked. "Me? Nah." He winked. "You should be nervous. First show as my sidekick." Amanda rolled her eyes. "What exactly does a sidekick do?" "Clap loudly and laugh at all my jokes," he said. "Even the bad ones." Amanda grinned. "Deal." The announcer's voice boomed, and the crowd erupted. Her dad stepped onto the stage, and Amanda felt her breath catch. He owned the room. Every word, every pause, every punchline landed like magic. People laughed until they cried, and Amanda stood there, stunned. This was her dad. The man who used to fix leaky faucets and grill burgers on Sundays. And here he was, commanding a crowd like he was born for it. When the show ended, the applause was deafening. Her dad came off stage, flushed and grinning. "Well?" he asked. Amanda threw her arms around him. "You were amazing." He hugged her back, his voice warm in her ear. "Told you it'd be fun." Later, as the crew packed up, Amanda found herself next to Ethan again. "So?" he asked. "What did you think?" Amanda smiled. "I think my dad's a rock star." Ethan chuckled. "He's good. Really good." Amanda hesitated. "Do you ever want to be up there?" He shook his head. "Nope. I like being behind the scenes. Less spotlight, more control." "Control freak?" she teased. "Guilty," he said with a grin. "But someone has to keep this circus running." Amanda laughed, feeling that spark again, the one that made her stomach flip. That night, as she lay in her hotel bed, Amanda replayed the day in her mind. The laughter, the lights, the thrill of something new. She didn't know where this road would lead, but for the first time in a long time, she was excited to find out. Chapter 4. Spotlight Surprises. Amanda had expected the second show to feel like a repeat of the first. Same jokes, same crowd energy, same backstage chaos. She was wrong. The venue tonight was bigger, much bigger. Rows of seats stretched like an ocean, and the stage lights blazed so bright they made the air shimmer. Amanda stood near the curtain, clutching her crew badge like a lifeline, watching people pour in. "Sold out," Ethan said, appearing at her side with that calm, controlled air he seemed to wear like armor. "Every seat." Amanda glanced at him. "Is that normal? For your dad?" "Lately, yeah." He smirked, words spreading. "He's the guy everyone wants to see." Amanda felt a swell of pride and something else. Oh, her dad wasn't just good. He was magnetic. She peeked through the curtain. Fans were laughing before the show even started, snapping selfies, clutching drinks. The energy was electric. "Does he ever get nervous?" she asked. Ethan shook his head. "Not that I've seen. He walks out there like he owns the place." Amanda smiled faintly. "He used to be so quiet, reserved. Now," she gestured toward the stage. "This is like a whole new person." "Maybe it's not new," Ethan said, his voice thoughtful. "Maybe it's who he always was. Just needed the right stage." Amanda turned to look at him, surprised by the insight. For a guy who claimed to avoid drama, he had a knack for depth. The show began, and Amanda slipped into the wings, heart pounding as the announcer's voice boomed. "Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the one, the only Tom Price." The crowd erupted. Her dad strode onto the stage, microphone in hand, confidence radiating from every step. Amanda watched, transfixed. He opened with a story about teaching her to drive, a tale she'd heard 100 times, but somehow, in his hands, it was magic. So there she is, gripping the wheel like it's a lifeline, and I say, "Amanda, relax." And she says, "Relax? There's a truck the size of a planet behind me." The audience roared. Amanda laughed too, even though she knew the punchline. He moved from one story to another, weaving humor with heart. Jokes about marriage, parenting, life's absurdities, all delivered with timing so sharp it felt effortless. Amanda felt something shift inside her. This wasn't just comedy. It was connection. Her dad wasn't mocking life. He was celebrating it. When the set ended, the applause was thunderous. People stood, cheering, whistling. Amanda's throat tightened. Her dad came off stage, flushed and grinning. "Well?" he asked, eyes sparkling. Amanda threw her arms around him. "You were incredible." He hugged her back, laughing. "Best audience yet." After the show, the green room buzzed with congratulations. Comedians slapped her dad on the back. Crew members exchanged high fives. Amanda hovered near the snack table, watching him soak in the praise. Ethan appeared beside her, holding 2 bottles of water. He handed her one. "Big night," he said. Amanda nodded. "He's amazing." Ethan studied her for a moment. "You're proud." "Of course I am," she said, smiling. "He deserves this." Ethan leaned against the wall, his expression unreadable. "Not everyone gets a second act like that." Amanda tilted her head. "You sound like you've thought about it." He shrugged. "I've seen a lot of people chase dreams. Some crash, some soar. And you?" she asked. "Ever chase one?" His mouth curved into a wry smile. "Once. Didn't end well." Amanda waited, but he didn't elaborate. Instead, he pushed off the wall. "Come on. Help me load the gear before the comedians start arguing about who's funniest." Later, as they hauled cases to the van, Amanda found herself laughing at Ethan's dry commentary on tour life. "Rule number 1, he said, hoisting a speaker. "Never get between a comedian and their coffee." Amanda grinned. "Noted." "Rule number 2, he added. "Don't believe anything they say off stage. Half of it's a bit, the other half's a lie." Amanda laughed. "Sounds exhausting." "Welcome to my world," he said, flashing that quick smile again. Amanda felt the spark, stronger this time. It wasn't just his smile. It was the way he carried himself, steady in the chaos, like a man who'd learned to thrive in unpredictability. Back at the hotel, Amanda collapsed onto her bed, her body tired but her mind buzzing. She thought about her dad, about the way he lit up on stage, about Ethan with his guarded eyes and easy humor, and about herself, standing at the edge of something new, something thrilling, something terrifying. She didn't know where this road would lead. But tonight, for the first time, she hoped it might lead somewhere worth staying. Chapter 5. Enter the love interest. Amanda had never realized how much chaos could fit into a single hotel lobby until she saw a group of comedians arguing over who had the best joke about airline peanuts. She stood near the coffee station, sipping her latte and trying not to laugh out loud. Her dad was in the middle of the debate, grinning like a kid at recess. "Peanuts are comedy gold," he declared. "You just have to crack the shell." Amanda groaned. "Dad, please." He winked at her. "What? That was funny." Before Amanda could reply, Ethan appeared at her side, holding a clipboard and wearing that calm, slightly amused expression she was starting to recognize as his default setting. "Morning," he said. "Ready for another day of organized chaos?" Amanda smiled. "Define organized." "Exactly," he said, deadpan. She laughed, and for a moment, the noise around them faded. There was something about Ethan, steady, grounded, like he was the eye of the storm. "Big venue tonight," he added, scanning his notes. "Your dad's drawing crowds like a rock star." Amanda glanced at her father, who was now miming a peanut allergy for comedic effect. "He's loving this." Ethan's mouth curved into a faint smile. "He's good. Really good." Amanda hesitated, then asked, "How long have you been doing this?" "Managing tours." 5 years, he said. "Started with music acts, switched to comedy. Less drama, fewer broken guitars." Amanda tilted her head. "You like it?" He shrugged. "I like the travel. The unpredictability. Keeps life interesting." Amanda smiled. "Sounds like you thrive on chaos." "Only when I can control it," he said, flashing that quick grin that made her stomach flip. Later that afternoon, Amanda found herself sitting in the green room, scrolling through her phone while her dad rehearsed. A woman walked in, tall, elegant, with silver-streaked hair and a laugh that filled the room. "Tom Price," she said, striding over to her dad. "You were fantastic last night." Her dad looked up, surprised, then grinned. "Well, thank you. And you are?" "Marianne," she said, shaking his hand. "I run PR for the tour." Amanda watched the exchange, her curiosity piqued. Marianne was stylish, confident, and clearly interested in her dad. And just like that, Amanda had an idea. That evening, as the show wrapped and the crew packed up, Amanda cornered Ethan near the loading dock. "Hey," she said casually, "what do you know about Marianne?" Ethan raised an eyebrow. "Why?" "Just curious," Amanda said, trying to sound innocent. "She's smart, tough, and doesn't take crap from anyone," Ethan said. "Why?" Amanda smiled sweetly. "No reason." Ethan studied her for a moment, then smirked. "You're plotting something." "I'm not plotting," Amanda said. "I'm encouraging." "Encouraging what?" "Encouraging my dad to realize he's a catch," she said. Just because my mom didn't see it doesn't mean no one else will. Ethan chuckled. You're matchmaking? Amanda shrugged. Maybe. Dangerous game, he said, his tone amused. Comedians and romance don't mix well. Amanda grinned. Good thing I'm not matchmaking comedians. Just one. The next day, Amanda put her plan into motion. She casually mentioned Marianne during breakfast, praising her professionalism and charm. Her dad listened, amused but skeptical. Marianne, huh? He said, sipping his coffee. She's nice. Nice. Amanda repeated. She's amazing. Smart. Funny. Gorgeous. Her dad chuckled. Amanda, I'm 52. So? She said. You're not dead. He laughed, shaking his head. You're relentless. Amanda smiled. Just looking out for you. That night, Amanda watched her dad and Marian chat after the show, laughing like old friends. Her heart swelled. Maybe this would work. She turned to find Ethan leaning against the wall, arms crossed, watching her with that knowing look. You're enjoying this way too much, he said. Amanda grinned. I'm good at this. Or you think you are, he said. What happens if it blows up? Amanda shrugged. Then I'll fix it. Ethan shook his head, smiling. You're something else. Amanda felt her cheeks warm. Is that a compliment? Depends, he said, his eyes glinting. Do you take compliments well? Amanda laughed, feeling that spark again, stronger, brighter. Later, as she lay in bed, Amanda replayed the day in her mind. Her dad's laughter, Marianne's smile, Ethan's teasing tone. She was supposed to be figuring out her life. Instead, she was knee-deep in matchmaking and something else. Something that made her heart race whenever Ethan looked at her like that. Chapter 6. Comedy and Complications. Amanda had always considered herself a competent multitasker. She could juggle spreadsheets, emails, and office politics without breaking a sweat. But matchmaking while managing tour chaos? That was a whole new level of ambition. Her plan was simple. Nudge her dad and Marianne into spending time together. Nothing dramatic, just a little encouragement, a few well-placed compliments, and maybe a shared coffee or two. Easy. Except nothing about this tour was easy. The morning started with a minor disaster. Amanda walked into the green room to find her dad pacing like a man about to face a firing squad. What's wrong? She asked, setting her coffee down. They lost my notes, he said, running a hand through his hair. My set list. Gone. Amanda blinked. How do you lose a set list? Ask the universe, he muttered. I had it last night. Now, poof. Before Amanda could respond, Ethan strode in, calm as ever, clipboard in hand. Found your notes, he said, holding up a crumpled sheet of paper. Someone used it as a coaster. Her dad snatched it like a lifeline. You're a saint. Ethan smirked. Just doing my job. Amanda watched the exchange, amused. Ethan seemed to have a sixth sense for solving problems before they spiraled. It was impressive and annoyingly attractive. Later, Amanda spotted Marianne near the stage, chatting with a lighting tech. Perfect opportunity. She walked over, smiling. Hey, Marianne. Great job on the press release yesterday. Marianne beamed. Thanks, Amanda. Your dad's making my job easy. Everyone loves him. Amanda grinned. He's pretty great, isn't he? Marianne laughed. He is. Funny. Charming. Amanda seized the moment. You know, he mentioned wanting to grab coffee later. You should join him. Marianne's brows lifted. Oh. Amanda nodded innocently. He'd love the company. Marianne smiled. Maybe I will. Amanda walked away, feeling victorious. Step 1. Complete. Except step 2 went sideways. Amanda found her dad in the green room and casually mentioned Marianne. She might join you for coffee, Amanda said, trying to sound casual. Her dad froze mid-sip. Coffee? Yeah, Amanda said. She likes you. He choked on his drink. Amanda. What? She said, feigning innocence. He set the cup down, giving her a look that was equal parts amused and exasperated. You're meddling. I'm helping, Amanda corrected. He shook his head, chuckling. You're something else. That evening, Amanda hovered near the stage as the show began. Her dad was killing it, every joke landing, every laugh rolling like waves. But Amanda's attention kept drifting to Ethan, who was leaning against the wall, arms crossed, watching the crowd with that calm intensity that made her stomach flip. She walked over, pretending to check her phone. Busy night. Always, he said, glancing at her. You look distracted. Amanda smirked. Just making sure everything runs smoothly. Or matchmaking, he said, his tone teasing. Amanda laughed. Maybe both. Ethan shook his head, smiling. You're relentless. Someone has to be, she said. My dad deserves to be happy. Ethan studied her for a moment, his expression softening. You care about him a lot. Of course I do, Amanda said quietly. He's everything. Ethan nodded, and for a moment, the noise around them faded. His gaze held hers, steady and warm, and Amanda felt her breath catch. Then someone shouted for Ethan, breaking the moment like a snapped guitar string. Duty calls, he said, flashing that quick grin before walking away. Amanda watched him go, her heart thudding. After the show, Amanda's plan hit another snag. Marion approached her, smiling. Coffee didn't happen, Marion said. Your dad got pulled into interviews. Amanda forced a smile. Next time, Marion laughed. You're sweet, Amanda. But don't push too hard. These things happen naturally or they don't. Amanda nodded, feeling a pang of guilt. Maybe she was pushing too hard. Back in her hotel room, Amanda flopped onto the bed, staring at the ceiling. Her dad was thriving. Ethan was confusing. And her grand matchmaking scheme? A total flop. She sighed, grabbing her phone. A text from Ethan lit up the screen. Coffee tomorrow? You look like you need it. Amanda stared at the message, her pulse quickening. Maybe her plan wasn't the only thing getting complicated. Chapter 7. Amanda's Awakening. Amanda woke up to the soft buzz of her phone on the nightstand. For a moment, she thought it was an alarm, but then she saw the message glowing on the screen. Ethan. Coffee? Lobby. 9 a.m. Amanda stared at the text, her pulse quickening. It was casual, friendly, nothing to overthink. Except she was already overthinking it. She typed back a quick sure before she could talk herself out of it and rolled out of bed, her mind buzzing louder than her phone. The hotel lobby smelled like fresh coffee and faintly of last night's laughter. Amanda spotted Ethan near the cafe counter, leaning against the wall with that effortless calm that made him look like he belonged everywhere. Morning, he said, handing her a cup before she even reached him. Latte, right? Amanda blinked. How did you? He shrugged. You ordered it yesterday. I pay attention. Amanda smiled, feeling a flutter in her chest. Thanks. They found a quiet corner, away from the comedians who were already cracking jokes over muffins. So, Ethan said, settling into his chair. How's tour life treating you? Amanda laughed softly. It's chaotic, but in a good way. Not missing the spreadsheets yet? He teased. Amanda smirked. Not even a little. Ethan's smile lingered, warm and easy. You seem happier. Amanda hesitated, then nodded. I think I am. Strange. I thought leaving my job would feel like failure. But now, she gestured vaguely, feels like possibility. Ethan studied her for a moment, his expression thoughtful. That's brave, you know? Most people cling to what's safe. Amanda felt her cheeks warm. Brave or reckless? Sometimes they're the same thing, he said, his voice low, almost teasing. But there was something in his eyes that made her heart skip. They talked for nearly an hour about travel, music, the weird quirks of comedians. Amanda learned Ethan had grown up in Chicago, loved old jazz records, and hated pineapple on pizza with a passion that bordered on philosophical. When they finally stood to leave, Amanda felt lighter, like she'd been carrying a weight she didn't even know was there. That afternoon, Amanda found her dad sitting on the edge of the stage, staring out at the empty rows of chairs. Hey, she said, climbing up beside him. You okay? He smiled faintly. Just thinking. About what? He shrugged. Life. How weird it is. One minute you're fixing leaky faucets, the next you're telling jokes to strangers. Amanda laughed softly. You're amazing, Dad. He glanced at her, his eyes warm. You know, when your mom left, I thought I'd failed. As a husband. As a father. Amanda's chest tightened. Dad. But then I realized, he continued, life doesn't end because one chapter does. You start a new one. And sometimes, it's better than the last. Amanda swallowed hard, her throat thick. You deserve this. All of it. He smiled, reaching over to squeeze her hand. And you deserve to be happy too, Amanda. Whatever that looks like. Amanda nodded, blinking back tears. She'd come on this tour to escape a dead-end job. But maybe she was escaping more than that. Maybe she was escaping the fear that she'd never figure out who she was, or what she wanted. That night, Amanda watched her dad perform with new eyes. Every laugh, every cheer felt like proof that reinvention was possible. That second chances weren't just for other people. And when Ethan caught her gaze from across the room, his smile slow and knowing, Amanda felt something shift inside her. Maybe happiness wasn't about having all the answers. Maybe it was about being brave enough to ask the right questions. Later, back in her room, Amanda lay awake, staring at the ceiling. Her dad's words echoed in her mind. Life doesn't end because one chapter does. She thought about her job, her future, her heart. About Ethan, with his steady calm and quiet depth. And for the first time, Amanda wondered if the next chapter of her life wasn't just about finding a career. Maybe it was about finding herself. Chapter 8. Disaster and Discovery. Amanda had learned one thing about tour life. Chaos wasn't an occasional visitor. It was a permanent resident. But tonight, chaos decided to throw a party. The venue was packed, the energy electric. Fans lined up outside hours before the doors opened, and the buzz backstage was louder than the crowd. Amanda was helping Tina organize merch tables when Ethan appeared, looking unusually tense. What's wrong? Amanda asked, noting the tightness in his jaw. Lighting rig's acting up, he said, scanning the stage. If it fails mid-show, we've got a blackout. Amanda frowned. Can't they fix it? They're trying, Ethan said, his voice clipped. But if it goes down during your dad's set, we need a backup plan. Amanda's stomach nodded. What kind of backup plan? Me, Ethan said grimly. And now you. 10 minutes later, Amanda was standing backstage, headset on, heart pounding like a drum solo. Ethan was beside her, calm but focused, barking instructions into his mic. Kill the side lights. Keep the front rig stable. If it flickers, cue the emergency spots. Amanda swallowed hard. What do I do? Stay by the breaker, Ethan said. If the main rig blows, you flip the switch and pray. Amanda stared at him. That's your plan? Pray? He shot her a quick grin. Welcome to showbiz. The show started, and for a while, everything was perfect. Her dad was on fire. Every joke landing, every laugh rolling like thunder. Amanda almost forgot about the lighting rig. Until the lights flickered. Amanda froze. Ethan's voice crackled in her headset. Breaker. Now. She sprinted to the panel, yanked the switch, and held her breath. The emergency spots flared to life, bathing the stage in a warm glow. The crowd cheered like it was part of the act. Amanda exhaled, her hands shaking. That worked. Barely, Ethan said, appearing at her side. His hair was mussed, his shirt clinging to his shoulders, and Amanda had the insane thought that crisis looked good on him. You okay? He asked, his voice softer now. Amanda nodded, though her pulse was still racing. That was terrifying. He smiled faintly. You handled it. Amanda laughed shakily. I flipped a switch. You didn't panic, he said. Most people would. Amanda met his gaze, and for a moment, the noise around them faded. His eyes were steady, warm, and something in her chest shifted, like a door opening she hadn't realized was locked. After the show, the crew buzzed with relief. The lighting techs were already dismantling the faulty rig, and her dad was basking in post-show glory, oblivious to the near disaster. Amanda slipped outside for air, the cool night calming her nerves. A few minutes later, Ethan joined her, 2 steaming cups in hand. Coffee, he said, handing her one. You earned it. Amanda smiled, wrapping her hands around the cup. Thanks. They stood in silence for a moment, the hum of distant traffic filling the space between them. You were amazing tonight, Ethan said finally. Amanda laughed. I flipped a switch. You kept the show alive, he said. That matters. Amanda glanced at him, her heart thudding. You always seem so calm, even when everything's falling apart. He shrugged. Comes with the job. Does anything rattle you? She asked, half teasing. His smile was slow, almost wistful. More than I let on. Amanda tilted her head. Like what? He hesitated, then said quietly, losing people, letting them down. Amanda's breath caught. There was weight in his words, something raw beneath the surface. She wanted to ask more, but before she could, he looked at her, really looked at her, and the air between them shifted. Amanda, he began, his voice low. Her pulse jumped. Yeah. He opened his mouth, then closed it, shaking his head with a faint smile. Never mind. Amanda stared at him, frustration and curiosity tangling inside her. But before she could press, Tina's voice called from inside, breaking the moment. Later, in her room, Amanda replayed the night in her mind. The blackout, the adrenaline, Ethan's steady voice in her headset. And that look, that almost confession. She didn't know what it meant, but she knew one thing she wanted to find out. Chapter 9. Dad's Confession. The tour had settled into a rhythm. Venues, laughter, late-night drives, but tonight felt different. Amanda couldn't put her finger on why. Maybe it was the quiet after the show, the way her dad lingered on stage long after the crowd had gone, staring at the empty seats like they held secrets. Amanda approached slowly, her sneakers squeaking on the polished floor. Hey, she said softly. You okay? Her dad turned, smiling faintly. Just thinking. Amanda climbed onto the stage, sitting beside him. About what? He exhaled, his shoulders sinking. About life. About you. Amanda frowned. Me? He nodded, his eyes warm but shadowed. You know, when your mom left, I thought I'd failed. Not just as a husband, but as a father. Amanda's chest tightened. Dad. I kept asking myself what I could have done differently. He continued, his voice low. Was I too quiet? Too boring? Did I make her feel trapped? And then I worried. Maybe I'd make you feel the same way. Amanda blinked back sudden tears. You never made me feel trapped. He smiled sadly. I just didn't want you to think love was fragile, or that happiness was temporary. Amanda swallowed hard. I never thought that. I thought Mom was selfish. He chuckled softly. Maybe. Or maybe she just wanted something different. People change. Amanda stared at him, her throat thick. You deserve someone who sees how amazing you are. He laughed, shaking his head. Amanda, I mean it, she said fiercely. You gave everything to that marriage. You gave everything to me. You deserve more than jokes and hotel rooms. He looked at her, his eyes glinting with something tender. You sound like you've been plotting. Amanda flushed. Maybe a little. He chuckled, reaching over to squeeze her hand. You're relentless. She smiled through the ache in her chest. I learned from the best. For a moment, they sat in silence, the hum of distant traffic filling the empty theater. Then her dad spoke again, his voice softer now. You know what scares me? He said. Amanda shook her head. What? That you'll settle, he said. That you'll stay somewhere safe because it's easy. You've got so much fire in you, Amanda. Don't let anything, dim that. Amanda blinked, her heart twisting. I'm trying not to. He smiled. You're doing more than trying. You're out here taking risks. That's brave. Amanda laughed weakly. Ethan said the same thing. Her dad's brows lifted. Ethan, huh? Amanda felt her cheeks heat. He's nice. Her dad grinned. Nice? That's all. Amanda rolled her eyes. Don't start. He chuckled, squeezing her hand again. Just saying. Life's short. Don't be afraid to grab what makes you happy. Amanda stared at him, her throat tight. You really think I'll figure it out? He smiled, his eyes crinkling. I think you already are. Later, in her hotel room, Amanda lay awake, her dad's words echoing in her mind. Don't settle. Grab what makes you happy. She thought about her job, the one she'd left behind without regret. About the future she hadn't mapped out yet. And about Ethan, with his steady calm and quiet depth, the way his eyes lingered like he was holding something back. Maybe happiness wasn't about certainty. Maybe it was about courage. And maybe, just maybe, Amanda was ready to be brave. Chapter 10. Amanda's choice. Amanda stared at the blinking cursor on her laptop screen, the words of an unfinished email glaring back at her. Subject, future plans? She had started writing it 3 times. Once to her old boss, once to Lila, and once to herself. None of them felt right. The truth was, Amanda didn't know what her future plans were. She only knew what they weren't. Spreadsheets, quarterly reports, and a ceiling that capped her ambition. But what came next? That was the question twisting her stomach into knots. The tour was winding down, 3 shows left. Amanda felt the countdown like a clock ticking in her chest. Every day brought her closer to a decision she wasn't ready to make. Stay on the road? Go back home? Start something new? And then there was Ethan. Amanda closed the laptop and flopped onto the bed, staring at the ceiling. She thought about his steady calm, his quick smile, the way his voice softened when he said her name. She thought about the almost confession outside the venue, the way his eyes had held hers like he was about to say something that mattered. And she thought about her dad's words, don't settle. Grab what makes you happy. Later that evening, Amanda found Ethan in the loading dock, overseeing the crew as they packed up equipment. He looked tired, hair mussed, shirt clinging to his shoulders, but still impossibly composed. Need help? She asked, stepping into the chaos. He glanced at her, his smile quick but warm. Always. Amanda grabbed a case and followed him to the van. For a while, they worked in silence, the hum of voices and clatter of gear filling the air. Then Ethan spoke, his tone casual but edged with something deeper. Tour's almost over. Amanda nodded. Yeah. You thought about what's next? Amanda hesitated, her pulse quickening. Not really. I mean, I have, but nothing feels clear. Ethan studied her for a moment, his expression unreadable. You don't strike me as someone who likes standing still. Amanda laughed softly. I don't. But jumping without a parachute isn't my thing either. He smiled faintly. Sometimes you find the parachute on the way down. Amanda stared at him, her heart thudding. Is that how you live? His eyes held hers, steady and warm. Sometimes. For a moment, the noise around them faded. Amanda felt the weight of the question she wanted to ask. What about us? But before she could speak, someone called Ethan's name, breaking the spell. That night, Amanda sat with her dad in the hotel lounge, nursing a cup of tea while he scrolled through photos fans had posted online. You're a star, she teased. He grinned. Don't tell my golf buddies. They'll never let me live it down. Amanda laughed, then sobered. Tour's almost over. Her dad looked at her, his smile softening. You thinking about what's next? Amanda nodded, her throat tight. I don't want to go back to what I had. But I don't know what I want instead. He reached over, squeezing her hand. You'll figure it out. You always do. Amanda blinked back tears. What if I make the wrong choice? He smiled gently. There's no wrong choice, Amanda. Just choices. And if one doesn't work, you make another. Amanda swallowed hard, her chest aching. You make it sound easy. He chuckled. It's not. But it's worth it. Amanda thought about Ethan again. His quiet strength, his almost confession. Maybe her next choice wasn't just about a career. Maybe it was about something bigger, something scarier, something that mattered. Later, in her room, Amanda opened her laptop again. She stared at the blank email, then closed it. Instead, she grabbed her phone and typed a message to Ethan. Can we talk after the show tomorrow? Her finger hovered over the send button, her heart pounding. Then she hit send. And for the first time in weeks, Amanda felt like she was moving forward. Chapter 11. The grand gesture. Amanda had been nervous before. Job interviews, college exams, even her first time parallel parking, but nothing compared to the way her stomach twisted as she waited for Ethan after the show. The venue was buzzing with post-show energy. Fans lingered for autographs, crew members hauled equipment, and her dad was basking in the glow of another sold-out performance. Amanda stood near the side door, clutching her phone like a lifeline. She'd sent the message. "Can we talk after the show?" He'd replied with a simple yes. Now all she had to do was not hyperventilate. Ethan appeared like he always did, calm, steady, clipboard in hand. But when his eyes found hers, something shifted. His usual quick smile was slower this time, softer, like he knew this wasn't just small talk. "Hey," he said, his voice low enough to cut through the noise. "You wanted to talk?" Amanda nodded, her throat dry. "Yeah. Can we go somewhere quiet?" He gestured toward the loading dock. "Come on." The night air was cool, carrying the faint hum of distant traffic. They stood near the van, the glow of streetlights painting soft halos around them. For a moment, neither spoke. Amanda took a breath. "Tour's almost over." Ethan nodded. 3 shows left. "I've been thinking about what's next," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "And I realized, I don't want to go back to what I had. But I don't know what I want instead." Ethan studied her, his expression unreadable. "That's not a bad place to be." Amanda laughed weakly. "Feels like it." He stepped closer, his eyes steady on hers. "Amanda, you've been brave. You left something safe to chase something unknown. That's more than most people ever do." Her chest tightened. "I don't feel brave. I feel lost." "Lost isn't bad," he said softly. "Lost means you're moving." Amanda swallowed hard, her heart pounding. "What about you? You've been doing this for years. Is this enough for you?" Ethan hesitated, then shook his head slowly. "It was, for a while. But lately," he trailed off, his jaw tightening. "Lately I've been wondering if I'm hiding behind the chaos. If I'm afraid to want something more." Amanda's breath caught. "Like what?" His eyes held hers, and for a moment, the world narrowed to just them. "Like you." Amanda froze, her pulse roaring in her ears. "Ethan." He stepped closer, his voice low, almost a whisper. "I've been trying not to say it, trying to keep things simple. But every time I see you, every time you laugh, or fight for your dad, or flip a breaker like it's nothing, I can't stop thinking, I don't want this to end." Amanda's throat tightened. "I don't either." For a heartbeat, they just stood there, the air thick with everything unsaid. Then Ethan reached out, his fingers brushing hers, tentative, like he was giving her a chance to pull away. She didn't. The kiss wasn't dramatic. No fireworks, no sweeping music. Just quiet, steady warmth that felt like coming home after a long, uncertain journey. When they pulled back, Amanda was breathless, her heart racing. "That was long overdue," Ethan said, his smile slow and sure. Amanda laughed softly, her nerves unraveling. "What happens now?" He shrugged, his eyes glinting. "We figure it out. Together." Amanda stared at him, her chest aching in the best way. For weeks, she'd been terrified of making the wrong choice. But standing here, with Ethan's hand warm in hers, she realized something. Maybe the right choice wasn't about certainty. Maybe it was about courage. And maybe, just maybe, she was ready to be brave. Inside, the crew was still packing up, oblivious to the shift that had just happened outside. Amanda squeezed Ethan's hand, smiling. "Come on," she said. "Help me convince my dad this tour needs an encore." Ethan grinned. "You're relentless." Amanda winked. "I learned from the best." Chapter 12. Curtain Call. The last night of the tour felt like the final page of a book Amanda didn't want to close. The venue was the biggest yet. A sprawling theater with velvet seats and chandeliers that glittered like stars. Fans lined up outside hours before the doors opened, buzzing with anticipation. Amanda stood backstage, watching her dad pace with the same calm confidence he'd worn since day one. He looked like he belonged here, like he'd been born for this stage. "You ready?" she asked, stepping up beside him. He grinned. "Always." Amanda smiled, her chest swelling with pride. "You've come a long way, Dad." He chuckled. "So have you." Amanda blinked. "Me?" He nodded, his eyes warm. "You were scared when you left that job. I could hear it in your voice. But look at you now. Laughing, living, taking chances." Amanda swallowed hard. "I still don't know what's next." He squeezed her hand. "That's the best part." The show was electric. Every joke landed. Every laugh rolled like thunder. Amanda stood in the wings, soaking it in, the lights, the cheers, the magic of it all. When the curtain fell and the applause roared, Amanda felt tears prick her eyes. This wasn't just the end of a tour. It was the end of a chapter, and the start of something new. Later, in the green room, the crew celebrated with champagne and laughter. Amanda slipped out for air, her heart full and aching all at once. She found Ethan near the loading dock, leaning against the van like he'd been waiting for her. "Big night," he said, his smile slow and warm. Amanda nodded. "Huge." He studied her for a moment. "How do you feel?" Amanda laughed softly. "Like I'm standing on the edge of something, and I don't know what's on the other side." Ethan stepped closer, his eyes steady on hers. "Maybe that's where the best things happen." Amanda swallowed hard. You really believe that? He smiled faintly. I do. And I think you do too. Amanda stared at him, her pulse racing. I want to. Then start now, he said, his voice low. Don't wait for perfect. Just jump. Amanda felt the words settle deep inside her, like a key turning in a lock. For weeks, she'd been afraid of making the wrong choice. But maybe the only wrong choice was not making one at all. She reached for his hand, her fingers trembling. Okay, she whispered. Let's jump. They stood there for a long moment, the hum of distant traffic and laughter fading into nothing. Then Ethan pulled her into his arms, and Amanda felt the world tilt. Not in chaos, but in clarity. This was it. Not certainty, not safety, but something real. Something worth risking everything for. Inside, her dad was still laughing with the crew, champagne in hand. Amanda walked over, Ethan beside her, and her dad's eyes lit up when he saw them. Well, he said, grinning. Looks like my sidekick found her own punchline. Amanda laughed, her cheeks warm. Something like that. Her dad raised his glass. To new beginnings. Amanda clinked her glass against his, her heart soaring. To new beginnings. That night, as the tour bus rolled toward home, Amanda sat by the window, Ethan's hand warm in hers. The road stretched out like a promise, and for the first time in a long time, Amanda didn't feel lost. She felt free, and ready for whatever came next. Chapter 13. New Beginnings. The tour bus hummed softly as it rolled down the highway, the neon glow of city lights fading into the quiet stretch of open road. Amanda sat by the window, her reflection framed by the dark glass, Ethan's hand warm in hers. For the first time in months, her mind wasn't racing with questions. It was calm, steady, like the rhythm of the tires on asphalt. She glanced at Ethan, who was scrolling through his phone with that easy focus she'd come to love. He looked up, catching her gaze, and smiled. What? He asked, his voice low, teasing. Amanda shook her head, smiling back. Nothing. Just thinking. Dangerous, he said, squeezing her hand gently. Amanda laughed softly. Not this time. The next morning, Amanda woke to sunlight streaming through the hotel curtains and the faint sound of her dad humming in the next room. She padded over, finding him at the small table with a cup of coffee and a notebook filled with scribbled jokes. Morning, she said, leaning against the doorframe. He looked up, grinning. Morning, road warrior. Amanda smiled, her chest warming at the familiar nickname. Tour's over. He nodded, his expression softening. Yeah, feels weird. Amanda slid into the chair across from him. What now? He chuckled. More shows. More laughs. Maybe a Netflix special if I'm lucky. Amanda laughed. You'd kill it. He smiled, then tilted his head. What about you? Amanda hesitated, her heart thudding. I've been thinking, I don't want to go back to my old job. I want something that matters, something that feels alive. Her dad's eyes glinted with pride. Any ideas? Amanda took a breath. I want to write. Not just reports or emails, real writing. Stories. Maybe even a book. His smile widened. Amanda Price, author. I like the sound of that. Amanda laughed, relief washing over her. You really think I can do it? He reached across the table, squeezing her hand. I think you can do anything you set your mind to. You've already proven that. Amanda blinked back tears, her throat tight. Thanks, Dad. He winked. Just promise me one thing. What? Put me in the acknowledgements. Amanda laughed through the ache in her chest. Deal. Later that afternoon, Amanda found Ethan loading gear into the van for the last time. She walked over, her heart pounding with a mix of nerves and excitement. Need help? She asked. He glanced at her, his smile slow and warm. Always. Amanda grabbed a case, setting it down beside him. So, tour's over. Yeah, he said, his tone casual but edged with something deeper. Feels strange. Amanda nodded. I was thinking, I'm not going back to my old job. Ethan's brows lifted. Good. Amanda laughed softly. You didn't even ask what I'm doing. He shrugged, his eyes glinting. Doesn't matter. Whatever it is, you'll kill it. Amanda stared at him, her chest aching in the best way. I want to write. His smile widened. That fits. Amanda tilted her head. You think so? I know so, he said, his voice steady. You've got stories in you, Amanda. Big ones. Amanda swallowed hard, her heart soaring. And you? He hesitated, then said quietly, I want more than just managing chaos. I want something real. Amanda's breath caught. Like what? His eyes held hers, steady and warm. Like this. Before she could speak, he reached for her hand, his fingers threading through hers like they belonged there. Amanda felt the world tilt, not in uncertainty, but in clarity. This was it. Not safety, not certainty, but something real, something worth risking everything for. That evening, Amanda sat with her dad and Ethan in the hotel lounge, laughter mingling with the clink of glasses. The crew toasted to a successful tour, and Amanda felt the weight of the past weeks settle into something light, something hopeful. Her dad raised his glass, his eyes shining. To second chances. Amanda clinked her glass against his, smiling. To new beginnings. Ethan's glass joined theirs, his hand brushing hers under the table, and Amanda felt her heart soar. Later, as she packed her suitcase for the last time, Amanda paused, staring at the worn leather notebook she'd bought on a whim during the tour. She opened it, flipping past blank pages until she found the first line she'd written weeks ago. Sometimes life doesn't end when a chapter closes. Sometimes that's when the real story begins. Amanda smiled, her chest warm. She didn't know exactly what the next chapter would hold: career, love, adventure. But for the first time, she wasn't afraid. She was ready. Epilogue. 3 months later, Amanda sat in a cozy corner of the Laughing Bean, a cafe tucked between a bookstore and a jazz bar in the heart of the city. The place smelled like roasted coffee and warm pastries, and the soft hum of conversation blended with the mellow notes of a saxophone drifting from the speakers. Her laptop was open, the screen glowing with the first draft of her manuscript. The title at the top read, "Laugh Lines and Love Signs." Amanda smiled at the words, her fingers hovering over the keyboard. She had written nearly 60,000 words in the past 8 weeks. Early mornings, late nights, and countless cups of coffee fueling her journey. It wasn't perfect, but it was hers. She glanced at the notebook lying beside her, its leather cover worn from travel. The first page still held the line she'd written on the tour bus. Sometimes life doesn't end when a chapter closes. Sometimes that's when the real story begins. Amanda traced the words with her fingertip, remembering the moment she wrote them. The hum of the road, the glow of streetlights, Ethan's hand warm in hers. Her phone buzzed, pulling her from her thoughts. A message from Ethan lit up the screen. "Ethan, dinner tonight? Celebrating your first draft. I booked that rooftop place you love." Amanda grinned, typing back, "Amanda, wouldn't miss it. Bring champagne." Ethan, "Already chilling." Amanda laughed softly, her chest warming. She set the phone down and took a sip of her latte, savoring the quiet triumph of the moment. Outside the cafe window, the city pulsed with life. People rushing to catch trains, couples strolling hand in hand, street performers drawing small crowds with music and magic tricks. Amanda watched them, feeling a sense of connection she hadn't felt in years. She thought about the woman she'd been before the tour, the one who measured success in promotions and paychecks, who feared change like it was a cliff edge. That woman felt like a stranger now. Amanda had learned something on the road. Happiness wasn't about certainty. It was about courage. About laughing when the lights go out and flipping the breaker without panicking. About taking risks even when they scared her. And about love. Her thoughts drifted to Ethan. The way he'd looked at her that night by the van. His voice low and steady when he said, "Like you." The kiss that followed had been quiet, but it had changed everything. Since then, they'd been building something real. Not a whirlwind romance, but a steady, growing bond. Late-night calls when he was on the road, weekend dinners when he was in town, long conversations about dreams and fears and everything in between. Amanda smiled, remembering the way he'd teased her last week when she sent him a photo of her manuscript. "So I'm in the book, right?" he texted. "Maybe," she'd replied. "Better be a flattering portrayal. Depends on how much champagne you bring tonight." Amanda closed her laptop and slipped the notebook into her bag. She had a dinner to get to and a future to embrace. As she stepped outside, the crisp evening air kissed her cheeks, and the city lights glittered like promises. Amanda pulled her coat tighter, her heart light and steady. She wasn't the woman who feared change anymore. She was the woman who chased it, who laughed at the chaos and found beauty in the unknown. And as she walked toward the rooftop restaurant where Ethan was waiting, Amanda knew one thing for certain. Her story was just beginning. New beginnings aren't about knowing where the road ends. They're about having the courage to take the first step and the heart to enjoy the journey.